this is Bianca Westwood from Gillette Soccer Saturday on Sky Sports, and you are listening to the B2 Football Podcast.
I'm your host, Anthony Kendrick. Joining me for this week's episode, we've got Nick Davie.
Good evening.
And we've got Cheltenham assistant manager, Russell Milton.
Hi, good evening.
You guys both well?
Yeah, very well, thanks.
Yeah, very well, thank you, Anthony.
So, Russ, just want to start with a bit about you. So you started out as an Arsenal trainee. How did it come about? You ended up, starting your career there.
Yeah, well, I went there. I started spotted in the kid trial when I was 13, and signed a school work 14, and was there from 14 till I was 21. So we had a 3-year pro contract as well. Was on occasions didn't quite make the first team in the league game, but I was there when they won the title at Anfield and various league cups and things. So I had a good time there, and then went from there and played abroad in 4 years, which was great. Played for Dover in the conference, and we won the league title to get to the conference in the Southern League. Had 4 years there, and then joined Cheltenham in '97. So I've been sort of around these parts since 1997, for nearly 20 years, and culminating in a league triumph going back to League Two after a league in the 1 year in the National League. So good times,
We'll come back to that. I just wondered as well. You also said you've got a teaching degree. How did that?
Yeah.
Was that you thinking of a career outside of football, or was that?
Yeah, it was really, because when I was in Hong Kong and Japan and playing out there was a lot of old pros out there who didn't really know what they were going to do and hadn't earned enough money to sort of retire and not do anything after. So I just thought, well, eventually I've got to do something. So I'm probably not going to be able to retire from football itself. So I thought when I get back to England, I'll get something behind me and did a 4-year teaching PGCE degree, sports science degree, and a PGCE. So it kept me, PE kept me in sport, and with that I did the coaching badges as well. So combined the two of them have given me good grounding in that area, teaching, coaching field in sport. So it was with a view to looking ahead. Yeah, definitely.
But it's something I'm sure must help you in football. In coaching what you're doing now.
Yeah, it has. Yeah, it gave me good grounding. I mean, I qualified as a teacher in '97, so I've been 47 now, so good on 20 years I've been in coaching and teaching. So I'm quite comfortable with it. Doesn't give me any problems. There's been a number of situations that have come up over the years that I've dealt with. And I started towards the end of my career, started getting into the coaching and doing it when I was at Cheltenham, doing the under-12s and the under-13s and building up there. Then I went away for a little bit and did my own soccer schools with Arsenal. And then I went back to Cheltenham 6 years ago and got involved with the youth set-up and became youth academy manager, and then involved in the first team manager for a little while for 9 games, and then this year with Gary Johnson. So pleased how it's gone, really.
Great stuff. Obviously, as Cheltenham manager, last weekend you secured the champions, your champions. So I guess you're proud of your team's achievements this season.
Yeah, been tremendous. We'll be 9 points ahead now, so we had to match Forest Green, and they lost and we won. So obviously we went up, and boys have been magnificent all season. We have a 22-23 game run, which was unbeaten, club record, and it just shows we're top scorers, net in the least, most wins. So that bears fruit to the work that the boys have put in the season, and there hasn't been many times that me and Gary have had to get into them, really. There's been the odd occasion, but I can count on less than one hand, the amount of times we've had to have a go at them. They've been simply, exemplary from start to finish, and it's great for Cheltenham because this was a big year for us. We had to, the chairman put a big pressure on us to bounce back. Otherwise, the club hasn't got the resources to rely on, chairman and people like that. It's one of those clubs that relies on the league funding, and it was a huge loss for us to go out last year. But fortunately, we're back in, and the club can look up again. The academy's okay, everyone's smiling, and hopefully we'll give it a good go in League Two.
Well, I was going to quickly say, actually, that's also a fantastic. You said it's a fantastic achievement. That there's not many clubs that do bounce straight back up from League Two. I know Bristol Rovers did it last year, but I can't really think of too many, to be honest. I think if I'm right in saying, I heard it when I was watching your game against Wrexham on the telly. They said it was about, I think there's 4 teams that have done it.
It was 1990, the last one. Yeah, 1990 was the last one, so 26 years ago. Bristol Rovers did it by the playoffs last year, and when they were talking 1990 was the last time that someone had done it as champions. I think it was Darlington, I think it was. And what we also did, we shipped out all the players pretty much. We kept the lads that were on contracts, obviously, and eventually they went. But we had 17, 18 new players, with 11 debuts on the first game of the season. So it's been, for everybody, it's been a great effort. And everyone's really chuffed with it. So let's hope we'll try and get one together for next year, obviously. So we do believe that this squad, with 3 or 4 additions, can do just as well, and hold their own in the league above.
I see you've got my football manager, absolute wonder signing, Dan Holman, who's been banging it. As I say, he was tremendous. Got me promoted Woking to football here. Say he's my absolute football manager idol. He is.
Is he? No, great lad, Dan. He scored some fantastic goals, so I don't want to big him up too much because he's obviously got a bit of attention already. So I don't want to alert too many more people to it. But
because wasn't he on loan from Cheltenham at Woking?
Colchester, he was. Yeah. He was been at Colchester. Yeah, been at Colchester for a year and a half or so, and then we played Woking, and he did well against us, and he already scored a couple of good goals, and we thought, this lad. We need to look at this lad, and then Gary's brother Pete actually lives near Woking, and lives in Guildford. So he went and watched him a number of times and said, yeah, he'll be the man for you. If he's banging him in for Woking, we were sort of mid-tablish at the time. With the amount of chances we create, he's going to get a few more. So he's right and left footed. He's a fantastic lad and a great player. So he's done just as well for us as he's done for you.
So after going down, was it like a main target for the season? Did you expect to be in with a shout of winning the league, or is this something that's come as a surprise to you?
We always thought, it's going to be tough because the chairman put it on us that we had to, the club, we had to go up. Otherwise, we didn't know what the consequences would be. There would be more. Obviously, the parachute payment goes, but. Once we got into the season and the lads, because we only won one of the first 4 games, we drew 3. We were unbeaten. We drew 3, and Forest Green won 9 in a row. So they got a big lead on us. They were about 10 points ahead after 9 games. So we were then thinking, well, let's just keep going, see what we can do, win the next game if you can, and gradually we eked it back. And September they had a little bit of a wobble, Forest Green, in mid-September and into October. We managed to get back, and by November, when we played them the second time round, we were, above them. So, and then we stayed that way pretty much, barring a month, for the rest of the season. So it's been a fantastic turnaround. And once we got that role, we just believed that, barring unforeseen circumstances, we'd be very, very close. And there are some big clubs in there, the Grimsby's and Tranmere's, Wrexham's, that have been in there a long time and trying to get back out. So we were fortunate, but I think you earned that bit of fortune as well.
I read a BBC article saying that the rivalry you guys have with Forest Green is a friendly rivalry. Is that the case?
Most of the time it is, yeah. Well, it has been when we weren't in the same league. This year there's been, the fans, I must admit, the fans have took it a bit far at times. It's certainly not reflected in the players and the staff, but I think the fans have took it a little bit too far, and fair play to Adi Pennick. He sent the manager a bottle of pop the other day to say well done, congratulations. So that was great. That was a nice touch, and we've been neck and neck all season, bar the last 3 or 4 weeks, and it's fair play. But there is a rivalry, and it'd be nice from a Gloucestershire perspective to see them go up. 2 football league clubs from Gloucestershire would be great.
What do you think of the playoff battle? Do you think Forest Green would be the favourites to win in the playoffs? Or?
It's a difficult one because, like I alluded to earlier, they need to. These last couple of games, they've got to get a little bit of form going. There's Grimsby a good side. Looks like it's going to be Grimsby against Dover, I would say, which is a tough one to call. Dover's my old club. They've done really well under Chris Canoe, who was my old manager 20 odd years ago. He went back there after stints at Margate and where else. Grimsby are the club that can get a bit of momentum going. They've got fans, they've got the history, they've got some decent players. Patrick Hammond's the top scorer in the league. If he gets firing again, which he scored actually last night. So then it's Forest Green against. Braintree are a part-time side, and Everswell under Danny Cowley. Eastleigh are the big spenders, and they've got some, ex-league players with a lot of league games in amongst them, and then there's Tranmere that have got a chance to get in as well. So it's a tough one to call. You would say Forest Green are slight favourites, with probably Grimsby just behind them. If I had to hedge my bets, it'd be one of those two. But I wouldn't want to call who's win on the day. At Wembley, like we said last year, it was a penalty kick, wasn't it, that got Bristol Rovers up. That's a £1 million penalty kick, that was.
Yeah. Just finally, just looking forward to the future with Cheltenham. I presume you want to get re-established as a football league club and hopefully go forward from there.
Yeah, the club was in the league for 16 years. I was lucky enough to be in there at the start of it, and and at the end of it, unfortunately, I was on the staff when we went down. So it wasn't nice, but we appreciate what we had, and the club still is full time. Obviously, this year the training ground was still as it was. A few people lost their jobs, but obviously we want to get back straight in and build on what we've got this year. We've got, under Gary Johnson, we've got a very ambitious manager who won't let people lie and sit still. He'll keep pushing for things, and as he's done in the past, he's got Yeovil up another couple of leagues. Who Cheltenham are a bigger club probably than Yeovil are. So we're all positive, and we're all enjoying life at the minute, and trying to move forward and get obviously Cheltenham back in the league, but establish and then move on.
All right. Just one final question I want to ask. There's a bit of a debate about there's obviously 2 clubs get promoted to the Football League and 2 get relegated.
Yeah.
Do you think maybe that more teams there should be maybe a 3? The team that finished second, so Forest Green, should also get promoted and have 3 relegated, 3 up?
I think so, yeah. Probably if you'd asked me this a couple of years ago, I'd have said no. But going back down into it, there are some big clubs in this league, in the National League, and I think it does deserve a little bit more recognition.
It is a strange one.
There's no money in it, so unless you come, the drops from £1 million is going to be next year to virtually nothing. Unless you come out of it and get the down payment, the parachute payment. So there's a huge gap in the golf. So, and I do think that you look at 6 or 7 teams in that league that can quite easily hold their own in the league above, quite easily, no problem at all. I think it's deserving of the 2. Certainly of 2. People want the playoffs for the the wow factor and the bit of excitement at the end of the season. But two teams do certainly definitely need to be an automatic. And whether they put a third in a playoff, well, I don't know. I don't think the Football League will allow that. But that's my point of view, because Forest Green are they've got their chins on the floor at the minute. Obviously they were with us all the way, and then now they've got to go into the playoffs, which we would have done. We would have been devastated at doing that as well. So I'll be advocating that in the fifth last league in the future for an extra spot.
What do you think, Nick? Do you think that's something that this should be considered?
Absolutely. I think it should be. First and second, then 4 in the then 3 down to 6th in the playoffs. I think it's just quite harsh, to be honest. I think every year that it is, it's tough year to get out on, and I think it should be 3 clubs to 2 automatic and one club for the players to go up. And it also makes dropping out.
If you look at it from the perspective of teams that are coming down, although the Football League teams, although they're saying no, but if you do go down, it's harder for you to get up. If you've got an extra spot, if you've got an extra spot, then it's going to be easier for you to get up. Because
easier to get up.
Yeah, exactly. You've got more chance of going if you go down of getting back up. So surely, I think it would be in their interest to have that extra spot for the league below, and filter a bit more money in it in terms of normal funding, not just the parachute. Because I think there's going to be a heavy weight for teams going down from now on to stay up, because I think they get the funding, parachute payments now for the extra year or 2. So we only got it for a year. There's going to be teams that come down, and you're going to see bounce back in now more, I think, if you watch in the next coming years, because the teams that are coming down are going to get the payments for longer and more.
Okay. Well, thanks for coming on the show, Russ. Appreciate your time.
No problem.
You can follow Russ on Twitter. It's at RussMilton11. Is there anything else you want to mention, or?
No, thank you. That's great. I've enjoyed it. It's great speaking to both of you.
All right. Well, if that's everything, you can also check us out on Twitter. It's at V2 Football. You can also check out our Facebook and YouTube pages. It's good night from me and good night from Nick and Russ.
Good night.
Thank you. Good night. Cheers.
Hello, this is Bianca Westwood from Gillette Soccer Saturday on Sky Sports, and you are listening to the V2 Football Podcast.